Settled, hi Gail?
Hi, Gail.
We're ready.
Okay, so it's 6 o'clock, January 7th. I'll call this Village Parks Commission meeting to order. Yeah, let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do a roll call.
Peltonen.
Here.
McCanny.
Here?
Hamilton.
Here.
Keikos.
Here.
Taylor.
Here.
Kyer.
Here.
Okay, thank you. So I have a letter to read. Should I do that after the approval of the agenda and the minutes? Or just read that now at the beginning?
I would do right now.
Right now, okay. So, and this is in regards to our Parks Commission Chair, Joe Hutchins, not being here. His term was up, and his term was not, he was not reappointed. So he has left us a letter. I'd like to read that into the minutes. It says, "Dear Village Park Board, the Village Park Board has always been united on how to make the parks better. In the 15 years that I've been involved with Village Parks and the 30 years that I've been involved with Township Parks, I've always promoted the value of parks for parks. We could not have achieved this without the support of all of the volunteers. The greatest reward for these efforts is witnessing the smiles and the laughter from those who benefit from our parks. Thank you for your support and commitment. I will continue my involvement in Holly. Respectfully, Joe Hutchinson." So that's why he's not here. I just wanted to clarify that. Moving on, we'll go to the approval of the agenda. Is there
I
any-
will make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, so we'll approve the agenda. Motion by Kyer, seconded by Keikos. Is that how you pronounce your last name?
Correct.
Regina? Okay, thanks. All right, approval of minutes. Has everybody had an opportunity to read the minutes?
Yes.
Okay, is there any changes or anybody that would like to make a discussion of any of the minutes as they're presented? Can I get a motion to approve the minutes then?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
Okay, that was, all in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. That was Keiko's motion and Taylor's second. So then, moving on to public comment not related to the agenda. Members of the public can address the commission once recognized by the chairperson. Comments are limited to a maximum of 4 minutes for items not on the agenda. Commission may extend this time by up to an additional 4 minutes by majority vote. For items on the agenda, comments may be made after commission discussion. Prior to the commission vote, prior to addressing commission, members of the public shall state their name and their address for the record. Is there any public comment not related to our agenda? Yes, come on up.
Good afternoon or good evening, everyone. My name is Jane DeSessa, and
Address?
I live in Holly.
Can you state your address for the record?
I don't. Do I have to? Is that a law?
Please.
I would prefer not to give my address because it's for security purposes. I will tell you that I live on East Holly Road and that I have been a long-time resident of this community for more than 30 years. I hope that suffices.
Thank
Everyone
you.
here practically knows me. So, thank you. Having said that, I really wish you guys would look at that too. I think it's very sensitive in today's world when you give somebody's personal home address out there. So I respectfully ask that you take a look at that when you develop your operational rules. But the reason that I've decided to come up here and speak is to express my disappointment in not reappointing Mr. Hutchins to this position. He has been a longtime resident. I'm a former village manager for the village of Holly, and I've had the privilege of working with Mr. Hutchins. He's an amazing individual. He's hardworking, and he just doesn't just sit there in that chair. He's actually an individual that goes out there and works. He himself has gone out there. He's done so much for this community, and I'm so disappointed that he was not reappointed. I don't know of any reason. Again, I'd just like to express my disappointment and to state that I'd like to personally thank Mr. Hutchins for all his time and all his work and all his commitment to the village. And I sincerely hope that he continues to do this. He's an incredible individual, hardworking. I'm proud to have him work with us as a member of the Holly Township Parks and Recreation Commission. He does an excellent job for us. I don't know what we would do without him. So again, thank you all very much.
Thank you. Any other public comment not related to our agenda? Come on up, please.
Jim Burns, 824 Baird Street. I'll be real short. This was not Joe's idea. Whoever did it to him, you should be shamed.
Thank you, Tim. Any other public comment not related to the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to old business. Outstanding budget items. Okay, do we have a report from DPW on our outstanding budget items?
So I think one of those would have been for like the play equipment that we had been talking about for a long time. I know that there is some money left in parks, so we're looking at getting that ordered
Do
relatively
you know if
soon.
anything was ordered on that already?
No, nothing has been ordered.
Okay. I believe that at our last Parks meeting, we were discussing the ordering of one of those items. Refresh my memory.
We had been discussing bouncy toys as well, that Brian had mentioned in the meeting before October. October was our last meeting, and we had moved the discussion of bouncy toys to this meeting. Are we still waiting to figure out what the story is with those? They're at Lakeside, aren't they? Or going to be? Is that what the suggestion was to do with them?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, and what was in question was the cost that it would be between, from the township parks to the village parks.
Okay.
Do you happen to know if there was any discussion or any resolution on that? That was something that Joe was handling for us.
Correct. No, there has been no other movement on that.
Where are we at with that? Do I need to go, or does somebody need to go to the Township Parks Board and address that with them, or is that something that DPW negotiates?
Yeah, I think
or-
we need to look at the age of those and make sure that they're still in compliance with today's standards.
According to Brian, that was something he was doing last year.
Okay. Pre-me, I'm not sure. I don't want to put any blame, but it's pre-me. So if you'd like me to look into safety standards of today's world, I can do that.
So there's some that were newer and older, and according to, this is from memory, I'm sorry, but I believe that the newer ones were still compliant, would be okay, but the older ones, we decided were not.
Okay.
But then there was still a question about cost.
Mm-hmm.
There was discussion about just giving them away, then there was discussion about you can't do that. There has to be a cost involved.
Correct.
And then we just have to settle on a fair cost.
Okay.
Make sure that we can afford it.
Sure.
So, do you want me to reach out to that commission, that board, or is that something that DPW can do?
No, I think it's
on our
best
own?
if DPW does it.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, thank you. Some of the other things that we discussed was doing the improvements to the bridge at Waterworks Park, the repairs. Do you know what the status was on that project?
I think that we had looked at a price for it in terms of material cost. I think I put that together for Brian. So I get to go through and try to find that again, but it's something we can certainly do once the weather breaks.
Okay.
I only say that because if that's a double layered bridge, and those pieces of wood very well could be frozen together, which would, make it very difficult to do the project right now. So we should wait for it to warm up a little bit.
For doing the project, but can we, maybe by the next meeting, even though it won't be warmed up, can we know what those numbers were so we can work it into, if we can make that decision about if we're gonna go forward with it in our budget? And then that way we're ready to go when it,
Sure.
okay.
Are these numbers just for repairing sections of the bridge, or are we looking at repairing?
From what I remember, there was like maybe 12 boards that needed to be replaced.
Yeah, it's looking pretty shoddy over there. There's quite a few
It
holes
would,
in the top.
those, and they would be spot repairs. I mean, like I said,
Yeah.
there's only 12 boards really that look like they need to be repaired.
Okay.
Another item that we were discussing in regards to our budget was the updates and repairs to the Ganshaw Park Pavilion. And am I correct in that the committee that was volunteering to do that has pretty much handled that? Or was there money that we were supposed to set aside in our budget to help with other needed repairs on that?
No, so the goal was the fact that we had come up with that 5-year plan for Ganshaw Park, and in that plan was a plan to redo the gazebo completely. So to sink any more money into that is kind of a waste of money at this point. The volunteers that did repair that, we repainted and replaced some boards that were like safety concern issues.
So all of the updates that we were gonna do, the cosmetic updates that we were gonna do short-term is done?
Correct.
Okay, cool. So we can cross that one off the list. Another one was the boat launch at Lakeside. Brian was looking into the cost of possibly dropping a slab in as opposed to pouring. Do you know where we're at on that?
For the boat launch, we were gonna extend it into the water.
No, it was more to bring the height of the ramp up closer to the water level. It's just been dug out so much. So one
Yeah,
of the,
add on an extra slab at the end where they power launch and power load.
Right, so
When
you
they
wanna,
dug it out, they wanted to
you
put
wanna
another
ex-
slab.
right, you wanna extend the slab length into the water, correct?
And widen it, I thought, too. But I'm not sure.
I don't know about that.
So the way that we do that, I've got a little background knowledge on that. So basically, the way that they do it now is it comes as like a preformed slab to the length that we would want it in width, and it basically gets pushed into the water. I am gonna tell you that we're gonna need eagle permits and lots of other things for that to happen. So I can look into it. Probably gonna be kind of pricey, so we might need some grant opportunities to do that, but I can certainly look into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
When the discussions that we've had last year about that were more along the lines of doing a repair to the existing launch that's there, not making it wider, not making it bigger, but just repairing it so that so that it can be used and functioning as it was supposed to be, as opposed to. So would we still need to apply for eagle permits if we're not actually changing the infrastructure there, we're only repairing what's existing?
You're gonna be adding something that's in the water. So I'm gonna say, yeah, we would probably need some sort of eagle permitting, even though we're just repairing. We're still gonna be adding concrete underwater.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'll look into it a little further for you.
This is just a sidebar to this. I'm sure it's not going to have any effect on anything, but last year when I was walking through, I saw a gentleman who had tried to back his pontoon boat up to that launch and tipped over sideways. And he was pinned under it.
He hit his body?
Yeah.
Thank God you were there to lift the boat.
Yeah, I did that too. There was a lot of people there helping him, but
My God.
it
So is that because, are you commenting that the land side of things needs to get repaired as well? It's not even ground, or?
It's not even ground, but the boat had tipped over close to the launch. I think he just missed it a little bit, and one side of his pontoon went over. But it's so deep there that it went right off
I
the
see.
concrete thing, so something needs to be done to it.
In
I mean,
the
I'm
water
sure
side, not
if
not
I
on
walked-
shore?
Pardon me?
It tipped over
In
into
the
the water,
water.
not on shore, okay.
But I'm sure if I just happened to walk by that day and see what happened, there's other people that have had issues with it as well. It's not just one person.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to negate the fact that there might be some sort of issue there by any means. I'm just saying these things will cost money, we'll have to
Right.
budget for them or find some sort of grant opportunities for that.
Or at least put some notification up there,
Mhm.
you know, watch out, it's low, there's a hole, whatever.
Right, right. Right, well, I mean, if it, yeah,
Danger.
if it gets to a point that it's completely unsafe, then yeah, we'll have to look at closing it or, you know, what kind of ramifications there are for that. I can't speak to that right now, but certainly, we can look into it.
Okay.
And that's not the kind of thing we can really get assessed until it's warmer.
Oh, yeah, the one snowmobile fell through the ice the other day.
Yeah, well, that's, yeah.
I mean, again, another option would be is to put in, like I said, you know, last season was like one of those skid docks that can just easily be drug in and out. You know, DNR uses them at their launches and, you know, it'd be maybe cheaper, maybe about the same, but less work of just getting one. It's like, they're not a permanent structure. They just get pushed in, pulled out. I mean, you can go to Seven Lakes, see theirs right now, right next to the launch. They just leave them right there. It's just, you know, they're anywhere from, you know, 5 to 12,000, depending on the size you need, but.
What's
I
it
mean, that-
called?
A skid dock. It's just, yeah, it's like a non-permanent dock. They're just on like little skid pads, and they just, you push them right into the water for when you need them during the season, when end season. Take a tractor, hook them up, pull them right out, and leave them right there.
Is that the sort of thing that somebody could steal?
Oh, God, no. Way too heavy, way too
Okay.
big.
Is that the sort of thing that we could do without having to apply for permits? Possibly?
I can look into it.
Okay.
Tim, where did you say you saw one of those at?
Seven Lakes, at their boat launch, you can see it right there. I looked into those and saw, and, you know, they're quite popular to use in other places, and, you know, I used to work at a marina, and I've seen them all over at all sorts of different launches and that, so.
Right.
Have you looked into costs of late, like lately?
Yeah, yeah.
What did
just
you-
like
what- how
actually a
much
few
did you say
months
they were?
ago,
Ballpark, what are they costing?
5 to 12,000, roundabout. But I mean, you're looking into putting in concrete and doing the skid pad, you know, extend. I mean, you're looking at thousands there anyways, so
True.
it's, you know,
It's gonna cost us no matter what, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But you add in the permits and all that, if you know, take what kind of work you need, whatever, you got a dock there, it'll stop a lot of the power loading.
Right.
Because they have something to line up with. It'll stop a lot of the going off the launch and being misaligned. It'll just have a little safety thing. You just make sure you have a sign at the end saying no diving or something like that, because the water ain't that deep.
Yeah, well, thank you for the input. Commissioners, were there any other projects that were under discussion for our budget for this year that I'm overlooking?
One more thing, if we could skip back to Waterworks Park. The sign for Waterworks Park, I had mentioned it at our October meeting. It is falling apart even more so, having started to come through winter now than it was before. It very much is in need for repair, I think probably this year. It is
Repair
not
or
going to make it. Replacement,
Okay.
probably, not repair. It is absolutely falling apart. It
Yes.
crumbles.
Yeah, this weather has not been.
No,
kind
it's
to
not.
it, Yeah.
It is press board, it's just been painted on, so that's why it's falling apart so much.
Gotcha. So I don't know that we've actually delved into that one at all. I don't know if we have any legwork that we've done on what the estimated cost would be on that?
I feel like we talked to Brian one time about it, because we were talking about potentially making all the signs match, like at
Right.
Crapo and all of them, and he was, I wanna say he was saying around $8,000, but,
For one sign?
yeah.
Danny, do you happen to remember how much the cost was for the sign at Ganshaw Park?
I do not.
So, but we would want to be uniform, right? And that, those are, the sign at Ganshaw Park is the one that's most recently updated. And
Correct.
when we had that discussion before, we were talking about going with that. But we also were not happy with the company that did that sign, correct?
I don't know.
Didn't we have to redo it? I thought you did the labor
Yeah,
for us on
when
that.
I was a contractor, when we did the Ganshaw Park project, we ended up doing, we didn't change the sign itself, but we just added another post so that the sign was actually visible from both ends.
Right, change
Yeah.
the angle of it?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
So if they were unhappy with the sign company, I don't know.
Yeah, this was a long time ago.
Right.
This is going back years, but I believe it was that they put it up with substandard post material. So it was rotting within the first 2 years. So I think that's what the issue was.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that we can't still duplicate the look
Right.
with another company.
Who would be best to ask about Ganshaw's sign?
So, well, the Ganshaw Park sign, I believe, was funded by a DDA project. But going forward, I would suggest we do is, take a photo of it and reach out to sign companies and just start getting some quotes. So we
Okay.
have some numbers to bring together. If we, for the parks that are within the DDA district, we can approach the DDA board about helping with splitting the funds.
Okay,
That would be for Crapo Park and Ganshaw Park.
I
Does
do-
not include Waterworks Park.
Not to interrupt you, I apologize for interrupting, but I know Crapo, Linda Smith with the Historical Society approached the DDA about, like, they want to fund, like, they found some kind of sign that's gonna match, so we're already getting a new sign, I believe, at Crapo, per, like, Linda at the Historical Society with the
I think
DDA.
that that's the historical marker,
That's the historical
Oh.
marker.
not the park sign.
Okay.
But anyway, but still, let's
Okay.
see if we can get some pricing on it. Do you want to take that on?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And then also too, let them know the number of parks we have, because if, maybe we can get a rollback on the price or a discount on the price if we look at doing all of them together.
Because basically at this point, we need all of them to be done again and be uniform. Is that the project
They're
we're
not all,
looking at?
they're not all in as bad of shape as the Waterworks Park, but it would be nice to have them uniform if we're gonna do it.
Okay,
We may not be able to do all of them, but sometimes you can get a price
a
for
good
it.
start, maybe?
Let me know, I'll help you.
No, but we could get,
That'd be awesome. Okay, thank you.
we could get a price on all of them and say, okay, we're gonna do one every 2 years or something, you know, spread it out, and maybe
Yeah.
they'll give us a discount, because they only have to design the sign once.
Right, and with our budget, that's typically how we have to do things.
Yeah.
All right, commissioners, are there any other projects that were not mentioned yet that were under discussion for budget or should be?
So should the handicap ramp for the parking lot by Pavilion C be moved up into talking about it now, or stay where it is? I mean, it kind of is a budget item if we want to consider it.
Let's leave it where it's at.
Okay.
We can still add that to budget items if it becomes that way.
Yeah, it's probably too new to add it. I mean, we just need to talk about it and figure out if we're going to do it or not.
Okay. Okay, so on the subject of our budget, where our fiscal year ends in June, correct? So we still are in basically last year's budgeted amounts. Where are we at? What money is left? looking at you, Amber, because you have been our figures girl.
Right, nothing, we have spent nothing thus far this year.
So so then we have the full amount, which was 20,000?
No, 15, I believe,
Okay.
yeah. I'll double check that, but I
For some
believe it's,
reason, I thought we were at 20 this past year.
we might with the dispensary with their extra 5K. I'd have to look at the budget.
Do you
Again.
have numbers on that? Okay.
Not currently. I can get them for you, though.
What does our budget go to?
18,000?
So we did,
It goes from June to June.
Well,
You
you're
have a
probably
yearly
right, 'cause
budget.
you write everything down when you say it.
no, it's not. Sometimes it's 10.
Okay.
It's whatever council allows us. So, but that's the thing is we also, we're going to be allotted the monies that we fight for. So we need to come up with projects, we need to come up with plans, we need to propose, projects to council. You know, then they can allow more money. Right now, our council has a very difficult task of trying to make ends meet with not enough funds, so probably not a good option this year. This year, we're gonna need to fundraise for projects and do grants to get projects completed. We're probably not gonna get as much as we got last year. But that is, a fluctuating amount. It's just based on what gets approved by council and also what we ask for.
But yeah, generally, I feel like it's generally been about 15K for a little bit.
Yeah, I've
And then
seen
we
it.
got like a push-up because Loom donated $5,000 a year for 10 years, I think it is.
So that was the push-up, because it was 10K before that, which is
Okay.
ridiculous to run 5 parks with $10,000 per year. It's
Yes.
pretty ridiculous, but that's the way it's been for a long time. All right, any other discussion on outstanding budget items?
Well, considering the village is operating at a deficit, I doubt that we're gonna get any more money either.
Right,
Can confirm.
thank you. Okay, so then moving on to Ganshaw Park update from Director Ransberg.
Yep, so I believe I've kind of hinted towards the fact, we did solicit a few companies to find out how much it would actually cost to do kind of the whole revitalization of the Cattail area, the Woody area, it required permitting, Eagle, DNR, everything like that. We did get some information back on that from one company. It was a large number, but to tell you the truth, I didn't think that it was crazy if we can find the correct grant opportunities available. I did solicit 3 companies to put together bids for doing the fen, exploring to see if we actually have a fen there or not. Those all had wide ranges of numbers. So I'm moving forward with that. The issue is we haven't budgeted for that, and I have not found any other grant opportunities for that. So I urge all of you, if you could help, try to find maybe some grant opportunities out there, that would be great. The public, if anyone has any ideas, that would be lovely. But as of right now, it's kind of just in the stages of getting quotes. I have found companies that do that type of thing, so it is within reach.
What about outside of the water? What about all of the overgrowth there? Have we looked at quotes for getting that area cleaned up?
We will not be permitted to do anything because anything within 500 feet of water requires some sort of Eagle permit.
Can we get quotes before getting the permit, or do we have to have the permit to receive quotes?
Just for the wooded areas, I mean, we could go ahead and solicit quotes just to remove those, but again, we won't be allowed to do anything until the permitting is pushed through.
Okay, but we could procure permits and push that through if it was something we thought we could afford to do. I would like to get quotes before trying to submit for a permit and doing all the legwork to get that done if we can't even afford
Oh, okay. Well, so, one of the companies, Davy Resource Group, they came back with me, it was about $60,000 to fully remediate the cattail area, remove all of the wooded species, do all of the necessary, they would do like a winter mowing, they would do some sort of spraying, they would remove all of the wooded area there, and then, they would also handle all the permitting for about that 60,000.
Okay, and you think that's a good number?
I mean, that's a ton of work.
Okay.
It is a ton of work out there.
It seems like a lot of, that's a big number.
I know this is gonna sound really strange, but there's a guy that lives in downtown Holly, that this is what he does for a living. But I don't know his name. I just see him because we both walk all the time, and I cross paths with him often, and we've talked many times about some of the things in Holly. And he's indicated that he works for a company, and that's what he does for a living, but he works at home. I have no idea how to get in touch with him, other than just wander the streets.
Well, Risa, if you get in contact with him again, please get his information.
Get out there, Risa.
Time to go on some more walks.
Walk the street. Change your route. Stop going around the block. Let's find that guy.
I've got some dogs you can borrow to go on more walks if you need.
It is definitely a concern, though, that it's a very prominently located park, and at this point, it's hard to see the water at all. I think it's something that we do need to
Right.
prioritize. Even if we aren't able to do the entire project, we need to try to take the steps to making improvements each year in that area, I think.
Absolutely. Actually, I got one, I forget, like, when it's frozen over, were we allowed to, like, go over, cut it down, or not even allowed to touch it at all?
So that's where we would need permitting involved. Even winter mowing does require some sort of permitting.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if we were allowed to or not, like,
No.
just to go down
No.
and brush hog it since it was frozen.
Because
No.
it's dead anyway,
Yeah, it will grow back.
right?
Well, the one thing we have to think about is the fact that if we actually have a healthy fen there, we don't want to damage it any further than it already is.
Right.
The invasive species has severely taken over the fen, and so we don't need to damage it any further if it is still there.
Good thought.
All right, any other discussion on our Ganshaw Park update? I'm just making a note, I'm gonna reach out to SISMA in a new unit of time, a new year.
Their funding has been paused till the end of 2026, but feel free. I just wanted to let you know.
Just ask
Yep.
if it's
Yeah.
possible to have the unofficial inspection done on, if the area looks like it may potentially have an active fen. See if maybe we can get that done, or get an estimate, or I guess an opinion from the fisheries guy.
I have 3 estimates for companies to come out and see if there is a fen.
Right, but SISMA was offering to do it at no cost.
Right, and like I said, they don't have funding right now.
So they're not doing anything at all,
No.
SISMA?
Everything has been put on hold.
Okay.
And you said you got estimates, like, to come out and at cost to have it done?
Yeah.
When were those looking at being done?
I'm sorry, what was that?
When were those looking at being done, like, early spring, or?
They'd have to
I
be-
solicited them in the fall, and so they were probably all under the assumption that they'd be able to come out right away and do it. So yes, they would probably more or less be in the spring to do that.
Do you remember what those figures were, ballpark, what it would cost us to have the estimates or the inspection done?
I have a number in my head, but I can't, I'd rather get the exact number to tell you.
Okay. Do you suppose you can bring that to, are you coming to February's meeting? Okay. Was it more than $20,000?
No.
Okay.
I think,
Don't really tell
Orders
us.
of magnitude, is it something we might be able to fit into our
yeah,
budget?
yeah, it's certainly something that we could budget in.
Okay.
Yep.
then I think that we should take a look at that possibility for next month. Okay, any other discussion on Ganshaw Parks update?
On here.
Okay, moving on, election of officers. So this being the first meeting of the year, we elect our officers, so that the chairperson and the co-chairperson need to be decided on by us. And that would be one of us, so two of us. We're short one person, Joe has not been replaced. So amongst us six,
No, I cannot be chair. I cannot be vice chair or chair, so the
I
five
would
of
let
you.
you.
Oh,
No.
honestly, Sarah, I think you're doing a wonderful job. No, in spite of what you say, I think you do an excellent job.
Being the co-chair.
No.
Thank you.
Move over.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I don't mind continuing on as the co-chair, but it is my preference to not chair the commission, if somebody else would like to step up. Risa, you have a lot of experience
You
with
do.
running meetings.
You know, I've been on parks, on and off for probably 30 years, which is difficult because I joined when I was 10. But,
You joined the Parks
Parks
Commission when you were
Commission,
10?
yeah, I was the youngest member.
Yes, you were.
I wouldn't mind doing it, and I'm going to say some things during board member comments, but I'm very disappointed that Joe was not reappointed. And I am going to, during board member comments, ask why. I'm upset. But I do think that Sarah would make an excellent chairperson. And I'd do it if you need me to do it, but
Okay, I do.
okay.
Again, I think you have like the institutional knowledge, you've been on council, you've been here before. I think you would be a natural choice. I think Sarah's right on.
Well, we'll try it. If you don't like me, you can fire me.
Clearly.
Somebody else to do it.
So, okay, do we need a roll call on that
We would need a motion and a second for that.
first? Okay, so then can I hear a motion? Can I make a motion? I would like to make a motion that Risa Hamilton chairs the Parks Commission and Sarah McKinney is the co-chair.
I'll second that.
Okay. Motion from McKinney, seconded by Keikos. Roll call or just all in favor?
We can roll call.
Okay.
Peltonen,
Yes.
McCanny,
Yes.
Kyer,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Okay.
Keikos.
Yes.
Okay. So then, let it be. Come on over, Risa.
Not now, next
Oh.
meeting. You can continue, you're just fine.
All right, fine. Fine. So then, moving on to discuss about spring cleanup. Historically, we schedule a spring cleanup day. We, not listed on here, but we also, before our spring cleanup day, we also schedule a parks walkthrough day where we meet up as a group and walk our parks, physically walk the parks, take a look for ourselves, the conditions, things that we know need to be done. At our parks walkthrough is usually when we make the decision on how we will focus our efforts on our spring cleanup. Usually, we try to schedule our spring cleanup right around Earth Day.
Is that March?
I was just looking that up, I'm not sure. Earth Day's, yeah, it's usually the end of March, beginning of April, I believe.
I don't even see it on Google Calendar.
April 22nd.
Thank you. Good. Pushing that out farther gives us better odds for good temperatures. Although we have had our spring cleanup in May and had snow. Our spring cleanup is a rain or shine event. We do it no matter what the weather's like. It's just awful if the weather's
April what?
awful. So,
April what?
Earth Day is April 22nd. So we would be looking at the weekend before that would be the 18th and 19th of April. The weekend after that would be the 25th and the 26th of April.
You want to do that for the actual cleanup or for the walk around?
Cleanup. I do want to also discuss our parks walkthrough as part of this agenda item because we do need to get that scheduled too. But for the cleanup day, have we been doing a Sunday? Gail, do you remember?
I'm
Or a
thinking
Saturday.
Saturday.
Saturday. So then we're looking at the possibility of April 18th or April 25th. Does anybody have any conflicts on either of those days?
What are the dates again? The spring cleanup is on the 22nd?
No, Earth Day is on the 22nd, so if
Oh.
we scheduled our cleanup day the Saturday before, that would be the 18th. If we
Okay.
scheduled it the Saturday after, that would be the 25th.
So 18th or 25th of
Oh.
April.
And
Okay.
we've been using, and doing weekends because it's usually most convenient for the commissioners.
Well, I think I'd rather wait till April 25th
Well,
because
that's-
it's, the chances might be warm enough.
That's when they're available, the crew,
Yeah, well, they are available during
On
weekdays too,
not
but
Sundays
not
anymore.
Sundays, right?
Saturdays.
So, once we establish a date, usually Gail then will reach out to APS, which is Alternative, or ASP, which is Alternative Sentencing Program. And that's the program where they can bring out people who need to do community service hours. And they will supervise them, and they run that and solicit for those people that need the community service hours. So when we post notification that we would like to use them, typically they'll bring us about 20 people, which is a huge help.
Yes.
So do we want to shoot for the 25th then?
I think that makes a lot of sense. Does anybody have an objection to that?
No.
No.
Are we wanting to try to do our walkthrough before that?
Yes.
Yes.
So guys, let's go ahead and schedule our Parks Cleanup Day, 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. And those are the ASP hours. And usually what we'll do is we'll split that up into two sections, a morning like 9 to 12 and then 12 to 3. ASP guys will take a 30-minute break for lunch in there. But it's important that we have somebody, we don't have to plan to be there for the whole day. You don't have to do back-breaking work. What's most important is that we're there to supervise and we're there to keep things moving in the direction that we need them to go, for whatever areas we're working on. It is not mandatory, but we're definitely encouraged that all of the commissioners participate on that day, if possible.
So when are we having the walkthrough?
Okay, so we'll want to do that walkthrough. We can do it anytime before then.
March on a Sunday.
Yeah, usually we've been doing our walkthroughs on a Sunday. So this year, Easter Sunday is not until April. Do you guys want to try to schedule our walkthrough sometime in March?
Like maybe the weekend before Easter, maybe like the 29th?
That's Palm Sunday,
Maybe the 22nd?
22nd?
What am I looking
Can't
at?
do the 22nd.
You're not available? Okay.
March.
Of
Oh, wait,
March?
No, March, yeah.
March
I thought you were
22nd.
saying April 22nd.
I'm sorry, how about March 22nd?
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
Parks
yeah,
walkthrough.
Work? Yeah, you
I'm
did it all?
available March
Okay.
22nd.
Is there anybody that does not work for? Okay,
I don't
then,
think so.
I think that works for me too. So, usually we meet at, I wanna say it's 9 AM or 10 AM. Do you guys remember?
It's
Could you
later.
make it 10?
Yes.
Yeah,
Why not 11?
yeah, that's good.
Would you say 11? Okay.
Be a little warmer maybe?
Right.
It was cold last time we did.
Very.
11 AM, okay.
March is such a iffy month anyway.
So for those that have not done the walkthrough, plan for at least 3 hours. It is not a fact, we walk through all of the parks. There's quite a bit of discussion. It's not something that we're gonna accomplish in an hour. And that's why we usually would start earlier, so it doesn't take up most of the day. But, do you guys wanna start at 11?
Yes.
Probably be
Yeah,
done
I'm
around
fine with
1 or,
that.
probably be done
We-
around 1 or 2.
Also got that new park that's back in what used to be the Pulte sub, but backs onto the Adelphian Academy. We've
Yeah.
got back in there to look at.
Some people did go back there last year, and I can tell you that I've been back there since. There's, a lot has happened. We should definitely walk that area.
Yeah, it's pretty nice, actually.
Okay, so that's March 22nd, 11 AM, Parks Walkthrough.
Where do we meet at first?
Waterworks generally, I feel like,
Yeah, we start at Waterworks,
Okay.
and then we'll just make our way around. And our Parks Cleanup Day will be scheduled for April 25th, 9 AM. Closer to the date, we'll start promoting that on social media. Very important to start promoting that now to anybody that could be very helpful. So if you know anybody that is in the landscape business that has equipment, that would be very helpful to reach out to them now and try to get on their calendar if they would like to volunteer, if they'd like to do any kind of community volunteering. That's a wonderful way to do that. Anybody, any neighbors that you have that just has equipment, you know that they've got a lot of equipment. The more equipment we have, the less we have to do by hand, the more we can accomplish in that small amount of time. We usually will have a lot of manpower, but they don't come with tools, so we need to get tools. And when I say equipment, I mean if you know anybody with a
Saws.
backhoe, saws, what else would be very helpful?
Well, the village
dump
has
truck.
shovels
Right, but we,
and rakes.
yes, we want to
Right.
stay away from that. Brush hog, if you know anybody who owns a brush hog, that's very helpful.
I do, actually.
Blow torches, no. Flamethrowers. No, but anybody that has equipment is wonderful. Some
We're
of our
talking
parks,
heavy
most of our
equipment.
parks we're gonna be working in areas that does not have electricity. So bringing gas-powered or hand-powered equipment is the best. Okay,
What would you do with the bulldozer?
For the,
well, what would I not do with a bulldozer?
Where would you start?
Well, I don't wanna discuss that on minutes or on record, but. No, but, so, very realistically, like, a lot of times we're pulling things out into an area and we're creating a really large pile. And then that really large pile might need to be moved 300 yards
Into the
down. Yeah, so
dumpster.
having a large equipment like that would make that so much easier than what we do is bring tarps, put it all on the tarp and pull it. And that takes up a lot of time and it's very hard.
Gotcha.
now I know you get the worker volunteers, but what about like student volunteers?
Yeah.
Is there room for them,
Oh,
like,
for here, yeah.
for their community service in that?
Yep.
Okay.
In fact, if you know of that and if you can get that lined up now before we do our walkthrough and that information is provided to us, we may be able, if we think we have an abundance of groups that are helping, we can take on more projects that day in multiple locations. options.
That's a really good idea, too.
It's definitely beneficial to reach out to all the local Boy Scout troops, not just Holly. I mean, Fenton as well, they have a rather large troop, and they're always looking for community service hours
I was just saying like the
to
schools
level up.
have the Leader in Me or something like that, where they got put in community service and get hours, and the scouts have to put
Yeah.
in community service hours,
Yeah.
so.
So
That's
for
all I was
instance, if we
asking
know that we have potentially a group of 20 students, young people, right? We can pick projects at that day of our walkthrough that would be appropriate for them to do. Maybe we're not gonna give them chainsaws or ask them to run a front loader, but maybe there's a cleanup area at Crapo Park where all of the weeding needs to be done, or all, we can delegate tasks like that when we're doing those walkthroughs. And so it's really valuable information to have for them, if you can reach out to those groups now.
Okay.
Okay, any other discussion about spring cleanup? No, okay, moving on. Handicap ramp from parking lot to Pavilion C, Lakeside Park. Who's put that on the agenda?
Me.
You, okay.
Okay, the Veterans Center came to me last summer, and because there was an incident where there was a gentleman that wanted to come to their gathering in that pavilion and couldn't because they had a very difficult time getting it into the lot because or into where the pavilion is, because there's curbs all the way around it. And there are other people that are not able to go to that pavilion because there's no handicap access to get in there at all. So they were talking about putting a ramp from the southeast corner of that pavilion place that used to be a skate park, cementing it in so that the people could go from the ground level and go down a cement ramp and get into it. They also requested some sort of a handicapped portable porta-john to be put in the same area.
We have a handicap porta-john that goes in that park.
I know, but it's down further, and they
Okay.
can't use it because there's no way to get into it from the road. And when we talked about this at the, whatever that meeting was, October, Brian indicated that, I think Brian was there, indicated that he thought maybe the porta-john where they wanted it placed was too far from the road for the porta-john people to come and clean it out, but I measured, it's only 10 feet. I'm sure that their hose goes that far, whatever it is they use to clean out the porta-john, but maybe we could look into how much it would cost to at least put that ramp in there so they can get people from the road down into the pavilion.
So you're referring to the corner that's closest to the cemetery and closest to the parking lot?
Correct.
Okay. I would suggest that we discuss tonight, if unanimously we all just agree that that ought to be done, and that we approach the veterans centers and see if they possibly would like to help us with funding that.
They
And
would.
take that project on. And then that's something that we probably could do this year.
Okay. I could invite Trina, that's her, well, everybody calls her Tina, but I could invite her to come to the next meeting and talk if you wanted to do that.
I think it's Katrina Gramer that you're talking
Katrina.
about, yeah, and she used to sit on this board.
So, yeah, she's excited about it. She and I went down there together and looked at it and went with one of the other veterans that is very active in the community and thought that that would be an awesome idea. Then they could hold so many more things outside. It's not just the one day, but they haven't been able to do it because they can't get in there. And an awful lot of the veterans are handicapped. Even if it isn't a wheelchair, it's a walker. And that curb is a trip hazard for them.
And they shouldn't have to work and fight so hard to be able to access areas of the park like that.
No.
Yeah.
And there was a gentleman there last year from World War II. Had barely made it on there, but by George, he did it.
Well, and I think it falls into our master plan as well about making
Sure
the parks
does, yeah.
accessible.
Right.
What's the procedure on that? Do we have to have somebody make a motion? Do we have to to do a roll call, do a motion and then a roll call vote? Do we just discuss if there's any
I
objection
don't
that we
think
have?
so, I mean, you're not spending any money
Nope.
at this point, so,
Potentially at no point.
right, because you're gonna look for funding for it.
So is there anybody that would have an objection to changing the structure of that and putting a ramp at that southeastern end?
Absolutely.
No objections.
Even if at some point we decided to flood it and use it for a skating rink again, you can still do it.
Right.
It's just
Just
that
putting a
one
ramp
corner
in.
that's gonna be cut off. And it could even be a skate park again, but I think right now it's a
Pickleball.
pickleball court.
Well, Risa, could you take that on of trying to make arrangements to have
Yep.
somebody come? See if Katrina is interested in putting that together, that project together to handle the funding of it and proposing a plan to us
Okay.
next month. And if she has the ability to do it by then, we can vote on it, push it, and then get it done as soon as weather permits.
Okay.
Or if March is better, or, just let her know we meet the first Wednesday of each month.
I'll do it.
Okay. All right, I love it. So actually, right now, it doesn't go into our budget. Okay. Any other discussion on the handicap ramp from the parking lot to the pavilion? Nope, okay, so it's moving on. Closing public comment. Is there any closing public comment? Seeing none, move on to staff reports.
I just wanted to let everybody know, we did receive our Tree City USA certification again, so that goes with what I think Amber was going to talk about, so just so that everybody knew that was a thing, we did get that certification passed again.
And so then we are still moving, the village, not necessarily parks, but the village is still moving forward with planting the trees this year. There's been no changes to that.
Correct, we're still trying to use CBDG funds for tree planting.
Awesome.
That's
Any
all I got.
reports?
Nothing from me, thanks, Sarah.
Okay, board member comments. I'll start with you, Risa, at the end.
Well, I'm going to talk here about Joe Hutchins for a few minutes. I'm very disappointed about what happened. I don't know specifically why his term as chairperson was, why he wasn't reappointed. Does anyone know specifically why?
Yeah, I can talk about that in my council comments. I'm very disappointed. Joe has been on this Parks Commission for 15 years. He's been on the Township Parks Commission for 30 years. As far as I know, we've had no issues with anything that's gone on. And I feel that it's important for us to work with the township. And that people that were, Janie for one, and Joe, I thought it was advantageous to this commission and to their commission to work together as a shared interest instead of a conflict of interest or whatever happened here. We have parks in the township has parks in the village. What are we supposed to do? We need to work together. As far as I'm concerned, we could have one parks commission that encompass both. I realize there's an issue right now with cityhood. And I think that the way it was handled with Joe and in retrospect to ourselves was uncomfortable because the only reason I knew Joe had not been reappointed was because he called me. I didn't get any letter, I didn't get any notification. As far as I know, you all walked in here tonight, although I'm pretty sure that word of mouth handled the situation. But we got no official notification. We came into this meeting this evening expecting to see Joe as the chairperson.
he's not here. Why not? I'm just stymied by this whole thing, and that's pretty much all I have to say. I just think it was wrong.
Thank you, Risa. Gail, do you have any comments?
Well, I too was upset that Joe, because he called me and told me that's the only way I knew that he wasn't whatever you call him,
Appointed.
reappointed. And he can't be age, I think I'm older than him. And that's not the issue. I don't know why he didn't get reappointed, but I'm sorry. I thought he did a wonderful job. And, you know, if we could get him back, that'd be great.
Yep.
So, that's it.
Thank you, Gail. Do you want me to go this way? or-
Whatever way you want to go.
Okay. All right, Amber?
Sure. So first, I do want to talk about, we've been investigating like our ordinances and going through our charter as a council and as the Charter and Ordinance Committee to try and find things that may be outdated or things that we may need to add. And we do have, as part of our ordinances, that the Village Parks Commission shall serve as the tree board and develop an annual community forestry work plan to be submitted to the village forester for review, approval, and implementation. Looks like this was passed back in 1997. The village forester would be Danny, our DPW director. But I wanted to see kind of your guys' interest in this. Do you feel like this would be valuable for us as a Parks Commission?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Totally.
Can I speak to that real quick, Amber?
Yes, yeah.
So it would also help me out as well, very much so, because as you know, CBDG funds have to be spent down every year. And it's very difficult to spend some of those monies down because right now we're just soliciting residents to plant trees in their right of way. And as you know, people don't want trees in their right of way in front of their house. It's very hard to find people to want that.
Why?
I don't know, you can ask them, but I can't find anybody.
I'll take two.
I know.
I'll take one.
Right.
Wow.
So developing a plan or having you guys help to develop the plan would be immense. So thank you, Amber, for bringing it up.
Yeah, yeah.
That's good information to know. I wasn't even aware of that.
It's on like page 92 of the ordinances, so, I mean, I would
I don't
understand.
know how I missed it.
So there's that. Also, the village manager, Price, wanted me to kind of gauge your guys' interest to see what you think about potentially moving the farmer's market here to Cyclone instead of keeping it at Crapo, just to kind of make use of this park. And we do have the bathrooms now. Parking, I feel like, is a little bit more limited, but we wanted to kind of get your guys' thoughts on what you thought about potentially moving it here.
I've given that really serious consideration, and I've spoke to Diana about that at the market, and she's actually asked me about that after the previous village manager approached her about that. And that was a discussion that came up when this building when it was decided that this building would be retrofitted. What else can we do to make use of this park? And the biggest issues that were discussed then was this park receives unpredictable flooding, which is not great for vendors. This park doesn't have handicap access it would be difficult for somebody in a wheelchair to, say, get to the middle of this park or get out. We don't have handicap ramps or sidewalks at the Crapo park location, but just the solidity of the ground makes that easier for somebody in a wheelchair. And then the other issue was parking. And then the other issue was how it might affect the DDA business owners, the downtown business owners. The downtown business owners are huge proponents for the farmer's market. They all do very well on that day because of the market. And would it affect them or not? I know that the winter market not being there, they don't see the same influx of people that they do for the summer market when it's right there. The winter market is done just right over here on the other side of this street, so one could assume that they probably wouldn't get the same traffic flow downtown if we were to have it here. Those were the factors that caused us to not pursue that then.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else have thoughts, or?
Yeah, this only really floods on that half. This half is dry, but other than that, yeah, Sarah's right.
So my choice on it, if it was up to me, I would say, no, I would not be in favor of that.
Okay.
And my major concern on that is that a lot of what I do volunteering is to help create the downtown, I want to see that the downtown business owners do well. That's why I do the events I do, and so I wouldn't want to do anything that would take away from that.
Lack of accessibility for people, and then, like you said, taking away the business for our local downtown district. I think that those are two big issues for sure.
So would you be in favor of the idea of moving it to here?
No, I would like to keep it where it is because I think those are two very, very big issues that would, I think, be impactful in negative ways to the farmer's market in our downtown district that I had not thought of.
Okay, perfect.
Tim, how do you feel on it?
I'm against the idea. I really like it where it's at, like, just leave it where it's at.
Gail?
Yeah, it's more accessible downtown.
Risa?
Oh, I think we should leave it where it's at, and now that the depot's moved, I don't know what they're gonna use the depot for, but it sure makes it pretty down there. It's wonderful.
It is pretty there.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. I will let him know. And then one other thing, they have things called RAP grants through Oakland County in terms of like bouncy houses and inflatables and stuff, and usually you can get them for free basically through the county for like community events. And we've talked about it, really we don't have any events because they go basically from Memorial Day to Labor Day, and we don't, really the only event that we have in there that we help with as a Parks Commission is 4th of July. So would you guys have any interest in me pursuing potentially trying to get some bounce houses or something for 4th of July?
Yes, only because I know that when they do supply those, they also supply the manpower.
Yes.
They set it up, they run it, so it doesn't cost us anything. It's not of any tax to us at all. And so many of our residents are down there enjoying that day. It would be nice, but definitely to schedule it for when the crowd's there, not the morning.
Perfect. Yeah, and I know we're looking into potentially like getting the stage from Oakland County this year too, like how they have downtown for like holidays, like getting that and having maybe like a band or something there at 4th of July this year too.
That would be really nice.
Yeah.
And
That
then,
event is getting pretty big every year.
I'm in the hot seat tonight. All right, in terms of Mr. Hutchins, clearly he is a beloved individual, and I would not disagree with that. The decision was made with him and with Ms. DeSessa in terms of incompatibility of offices because we are going for cityhood. Our current village president also had to step down from the library board, as well as another council member that they both served on there as well, because it can potentially cause a conflict if we do go for cityhood of incompatibility of offices. So it was a preemptive strike. A lot of people already just took themselves out of that, but Mr. Hutchins clearly didn't want to take himself out of that, so the decision had to be made for him. And as uncomfortable as that is, and like you said, it's no reflection on the job that he's done or the person that he is. It's just the way that we're moving forward.
I understand that, and I understand the issue with cityhood, but I don't see how resigning from the library board was any conflict of interest. I think that was her own personal choice.
No,
We're
negative, it's
supposed
because
to-
it's a township entity.
I know.
and they
I
serve
used
on
to
a
work
village.
there. So do we need to build our own library now? Because we don't, we need we have a separate fire department, we have a separate police department, we have a separate water department, separate garbage. Maybe
But
we need to
all
build a
pay
library.
The beach
township
has,
taxes.
the township has the beach in here, we
And,
got,
right, we have shared parks.
but yet,
I don't agree with it, but then I don't have to agree with everything. I think it was wrong.
No, and I understand that, yep.
Thank you for the clarification.
Right.
Any other comments?
Nope, that's it.
Thank you.
Regina, do you have any comments for the
I
board?
do. I am bringing you Mill Pond Committee updates. It has obviously been 3 months, so I've got a bit of an update for you. I was going over our previous minutes and realized that the last time I had given you all an update, we had not heard from Eagle as ways to move forward, so I have a bunch of different things to provide you with this time. So first I want to talk about regional support. Since the fall, both Holly Township and Rose Township have formally passed resolutions of support recognizing Stiff's Mill Pond as a shared multi-jurisdictional waterway and community resource. These resolutions do not commit either township financially, but they are important because they demonstrate regional recognition and collaboration. That kind of support strengthens our position as we move forward with Oakland County, and it will help with future funding and grant opportunities potentially. A big part of this being started was because of Joe Hutchins and the Holly Township Parks. He started that initial support, regional support letter. So this is just going to hopefully open us up to some different types of ways to research and help our parks, since we do have the park attached to the Mill Pond, and that's why that is prevalent here. As far as the legal lake level petition, we have sent out letters to the off-site riparian property owners since I was last here giving you an update. I have been receiving responses back now as well. I currently have received 44 of 66 signatures, which does make us meet that 2/3 threshold. Unfortunately, is the exact 2/3 number. I would much prefer to have a higher number. It's kind of a scary number to have the only exact 2/3 amount. So we are working on confirming and verifying those exact signatures right now. Once that verification is complete, we'll be working on turning the petition in to Oakland County and get some of those next processes figured out from there. Tentatively, our next Mill Pond meeting is January 20th. I'm working on securing that date right now. So Eagle did finally give us a little bit of communication outlining what they would like moving forward. It's really vague. They're still unwilling to really break down what they want from us. Their guidance essentially outlines a sequence of steps that includes deciding the future of the dam, conducting further engineering evaluations, developing options for repair, replacement, or removal, securing permits, fundraising, completing construction. Eagle has also stated that the water level will not be allowed to rise again until all safety concerns with the embankment and spillways are fully addressed, but that will remain their decision to do so, of course. We're still not sure how they're going to arrive at that decision yet. One major point of concern from Eagle is that they are now requesting a pre-drawdown wetland assessment, which they did not notify us of before they took over and asserted themselves to handle the drawdown, so we were only just informed of that. So we're working on figuring out how to give them a pre-drawdown study of the wetlands.
At our expense?
Yes, at our expense. So we're,
So the wetlands
yeah.
around the dam,
Yeah, for both the upper and the lower Mill Pond. So they want to know what wetlands were available before the drawdown so that we could keep an eye on them and know what wetlands do or do not end up taking over during the drawdown process. Because we only have until July 21st of 2027 before the wetlands would take over and we would lose our ordinary high water mark. So that's why the timeline to try to have everything done is so important. So that's kind of where we are there, and we're hoping that we can get some more information. We do have a woman, Megan Rugenstein. She works with Eagle and does a lot of wetland studies, so hopefully she'll be able to give us some insight at our next meeting. It's just been very busy during the holidays, trying to get everybody together. Finally, I want to talk about the historic study resolution that council passed last month. It's especially relevant to parks and long-term planning. Village Council has authorized the Mill Pond Committee to serve as the official historic study committee for Stiff's Mill Pond. This will allow us to collaborate with the Historic District Commission, Parks Commission, village staff, and volunteers. I'll be compiling and digitizing the full history of the Mill Pond, including its role in early settlement, recreation, waterworks, and the Shiawassee River headwaters. The main reason I'm working towards this so much is to try to work towards education and signage within our parks to open us up towards grants, not just for park funding, but also for funding for the Mill Pond. So hopefully I'll be able to bring some more information to you all soon, and maybe find some different ways to fund things that will be beneficial to everyone in our entire community that actually is for multiple townships and the village. So that's where we are right now.
Thank you, Regina.
Thanks.
Tim?
Wow, that was a flood of information.
I
Sorry.
don't know how you're gonna follow that, Tim, but good luck.
I just, I got like what you guys got, wow. I just wanna say, as far as Joe goes, having worked with him, I just sorry to see him gone. I really will miss him. I did enjoy working with him. I mean, it was great. Learned a lot from him. Though he did like to tell a lot of stories. But as far as how he was dismissed, I can't agree with it. If it was a preemptive blow, like what you said, as far as trying to consider cityhood, that just doesn't sit well. As far as also the notification, I too only was told because he called me. And that's not right. Like, there should have been some, at least formal, given out saying, I mean, he was a long-term person here. He put in a lot of hard work, a lot of sweat, like a lot of his own personal time out doing the work he did, and just to be thrown to the side like he was, whether, you had your reasons, whatever, sure, but the way it was just thrown out to the side just wasn't right.
Nope.
I mean, there should have been something a
agree
little more
with
formal,
that.
so, and that's
Thank
all
you.
I have, thank you.
Thank you, Tim. I do have some comments. First, welcome, Danny, our new DPW director. I am very pleased to have Danny on board as our director. Historically, Danny has been immensely helpful with our DPW as an employee, but also as a resident of Holly. And he's been such a huge advocate for our parks. He's done so much work on his own personal time, on his professional time, and I can't think of anybody better for the job. I'm glad to have you. Thank you.
That'd be great.
Yep.
I wanted to thank Joe Hutchins for the multiple decades of service that he did for this community. He is still very much active with our township parks. And Jane DeSesta, who's here tonight, she was also not reappointed for the same reason. On that note, I do want to make it be known that I did, as a co-chair, personally receive a phone call from the Village Council President Brandon, letting me know that she was not going to be reappointing Joe, and why. And I, at the time, expressed my confusion about how that would be. I didn't understand at the time, and I still don't agree with her reasoning that it's a conflict of interest. I feel like it's in our best interest to have the two boards being able to work together, and I don't feel that we've been in violation or had any kind of conflicts of interest between the two boards. And I fail to see how it's a conflict of interest with going for cityhood, even though she tried to explain that to me. I still don't see it. I don't agree. And my biggest concern, probably is a lot of what Tim just touched on, is, this commission, we get paid $15 per meeting. It's basically primarily volunteer work. We put in hundreds of hours, and Joe is no exception to that, and it feels rather slighting to just be dismissed. And it really, it's unsettling to people. And so in the broad scheme of things, I think that it's a poor decision to do that to people. Like I said, I also fail to see how it's unethical or a legal violation to have somebody helping in their village and helping in their township, since he's a resident of both, and so am I. I feel to see how it's a conflict. On that leaves us with needing a new commissioner. We, as a board, collectively, if you can think of anybody that we can solicit to come onto our commission, we can make recommendations that they fill out a citizen's participation form and put in a request to be on the board, or on the commission. Specifically, if you know of anybody, and we can solicit anybody that's good at writing grants, good at procuring funding, that would be extremely valuable to our commission. Have a really well-rounded understanding of horticulture and helping us with identifying invasive and non-invasive species and native species, so that we don't accidentally in our cleanups make poor mistakes, or our decisions to do plantings make poor mistakes. Having somebody on our commission that's well-versed in that would be wonderful. Or even just somebody that just loves Holly Parks is a really good asset, to bring that positive energy. So if you can think of anybody, please solicit for that. In my discussion with President Brandon, I was given the impression that that's a final decision. I don't believe we'll get Joe back, although I think he was a very contributing asset. But let's see if we can fill the chair with somebody that can help us move forward in the most positive way we can. And then lastly, I wanted to just make a comment on how pleased I am with the immense upgrade we've had with the Crapo Park. The automatic upgrade of moving that depot has completely changed the landscape of Crapo Park. Now it's my understanding that now we will look to see how is the railroad going to be changing the track. I know that their intentions once we move the depot was to change the trajectory of the track. They're going to be eliminating the diamond. So there's a possibility we could put, I'm assuming, this is assumption, we could possibly see a change of our footprint in our parking lot or our park, I don't know. We do have an active agreement with them. We have that park space leased from them for 98 more years, right? Okay. So we do have some say in the matter, but once we have an idea of what they're doing, I really would love to start moving forward with some improvements that we've talked about before of that park, which we've really held off on because of it's kind of in limbo. We don't know our footprint. We don't know if they're going to take it from us. We don't, Anyway, those are all of my comments for tonight. Okay, I think that's it. So we'll call this meeting adjourned at 7:24.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.